It is a pleasure to be joined by Kelly Flagg, Cooper Flagg's mom. The Duke Blue Devils, the number one seed in the East region, off to the Final Four after a win against Alabama in the Elite Eight on this court in Newark, New Jersey at the Prudential Center. And Kelly, you saw Cooper on this court win an East Regional. I'm sure he's dreamed it, you've dreamed it. I know there's 2 more games to go, but is it everything that you and your son have dreamed so far?
Absolutely. This is what every kid who aspires to play, for a national championship, this is where they want to get to that last weekend. And just to see him living out his dream is pretty special.
What is the hardest part about being a mom whose son plays sports when you yourself played sports, of course, playing basketball at the University of Maine? What's the hardest part being an athlete and being the mom to an athlete?
I don't know that there's a hard part with that, but I used to coach him. And so it's hard for me to take my coaching hat off and just wear my mom hat. And, I'm really in it with him. I feel like I've played a game as well, as hard as I was cheering today and screaming, and my voice is, a little hoarse, but it's just, I know how much he wants it. I know how much he's worked for it. People don't see the extra work that goes in behind the scenes that these kids have put in, the hours. And so just seeing him have the success and getting to that precipice, and now it's time to just finish it.
Has it been easier to take off the coach hat and put on the mom hat during the season, or has it still been that same struggle all year?
No, I think, I found a pretty good balance. There's not a lot that I could do better than him. And so, I coach him more on effort. If I'm seeing, I feel like he could put forth a little more effort, which doesn't happen very often. But, those are the kinds of things that I might be coaching him on.
When a parent sees their son go away to college, I'm sure the one thing that they hope more than anything is that they are around a group of people that will care for them and love them and get to know them just as much as you and their dad, their guardians would. Describe Cooper Flagg's teammates and Cooper Flagg's family for the time that you have interacted with them this year.
We are extremely blessed. This is the perfect place. Duke was the perfect place for Cooper. He has the greatest teammates, the greatest coaching staff, the greatest administrators. Everybody there is really looking out for all of the guys in their best interest, but they're really a family. That's what I would say is they're a family, and, the parents have built our own, bonds and relationships where, we didn't want this to end either today. And so we're just excited. We have another weekend together as a big family.
A couple more questions. Tell me a story, if any, about a time where Cooper really heard you in the stands and his reaction to that.
Well, today he heard me.
Today? How did you know that?
Because he came over to give me a hug and he goes, "But can you stop yelling at me?" So I think, you always can pick out your mom's voice in a crowd, and that was that situation. I thought he was being a little bit tentative early in the game and not being as aggressive offensively as he should have been. Mm-hmm. And I let him know, take the shot. You gotta, you gotta shoot. And apparently he heard me.
How much input does John Shire get from you?
John and I have a great relationship. There have been times where, he'll reach out just to kind of check in on how we're doing and what we thought about, different things, or conversations maybe he's having with Cooper about different things that he's seeing and corrections he's making with him. So we really have a lot of open communication, and I know he kind of trusts us and knows that we understand the game, at that level, and we obviously all have the same goal. And that's to make sure that Cooper becomes the best version of himself as a basketball player and as a person that he can become.
Really quick, what do you think this means to the state of Maine?
Oh, Maine is right now, they're still up, right? They watched that game, they've tuned in. There will be not a lot of people that didn't watch that game in Maine. And I know like the population of Maine it's not the biggest, but really they represent so great and they support us even from afar. And it means everything to us. It really does. That's always going to be home.
From Maine to San Antonio, Texas, and the Lone Star State. Have you been to Texas before?
Oh, I've been to Dallas, I don't know, 3 or 4 times. And when I was in high school, I played in Amarillo, Texas, in an AAU tournament. But I've never been to San Antonio, so that'll be a new city for us to. We were in Houston for the McDonald's game last year. So I've been, to a few places in Texas, but not San Antonio.
Okay. Last question, I swear.
Yes.
A couple of weeks ago, I'm sure your heart was in your throat when Cooper got hurt in the first game for Duke in the ACC tournament and did sit out the last couple of games, and there were so many images and so much conjecture about your son all across the country. How did you handle all of that and your family?
Well, when he went down and he didn't immediately get up and then he couldn't put pressure on it, I was a little bit nervous, not gonna lie, because he's never been one to like not try to get back in there immediately. And, so that made me a little bit nervous. But once they did the x-rays and the MRI and said, it's not that bad, I knew that it would be a pretty quick turnaround for him to do whatever he needed to do with the training staff. And I trust them as well. And so it was great. We knew it was going to be a short-term thing. And it ended up being great for our team. A lot of guys stepped up. Obviously, Con and Tyrese really played a big role in that ACC tournament, and it allowed him to actually rest his body for a few days, which probably was a really good thing in hindsight. So, we're thankful that it wasn't serious because, we see great athletes all the time suffer injuries where they're much more serious and can be season ending. So we're happy that that wasn't the case.
And Cooper has come back better and stronger, mainly because of Kelly Flagg's genes.
That's true. That is true. I agree with that.
Kelly Flagg, thank you so very much for the time. Enjoy San Antonio.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.